we don't second guess. Unapologetic, we're bold and we're loud, shining light on the left shady crowd. Oreo Express, rolling down the track, exposing the lies, ain't no turning back. Conservative fire, we're speaking the truth. At Oreo Express, this one's for you. So grab your boots, let's take a stand for freedom, faith, and the heart of this land. Oreo Express, let's roll, let's go. So grab your boots, let's take a stand for freedom, faith, and the heart of this land. Oreo Express, let's roll.
You're still looking good.
I'm still feeling good. You know, I've got all your MyPillow products. Mattress topper, bed sheets, MyPillows, towels, slippers, blankets.
I'm interrupting this commercial to do something I've never done before. Get 2 MyPillows absolutely free on orders of $100 or more. I can't do this forever, so get on board with this great sale today. Our best-selling 6-piece bath towel sets or kitchen towel sets, just $29.98. Our famous standard MyPillows only $14.98. Queens $18.98. King size only $1 more. Body pillows $29.98. Multi-use MyPillow 2.0s with pillowcase $9.98.
Welcome back, guys. Welcome back. Thank you for tuning in today. Happy Wednesday. Happy Wednesday. What is today? Wednesday, July 9th. Once again, thank you for tuning in. Let me see some. We got to get this screen fixed. Hold on 1 second. Clear layer. Give me 1 second, guys. We got a little hang up here. Let me do this. I'm going to reset this. Give me 1 second. Okay, cancel. Okay, there's that. Oh, I know why. There we go. There we go. Welcome back. I reset the program, forgot to start the virtual cam. That was weird. That was really weird. Thank you all for tuning in. Appreciate you. We're going to get the show started one way or another. We got a lot to talk about today. We have the FBI investigation into John Brennan and James Comey. We got some stuff going on in LA as well with the mayor joining a class action lawsuit to fight our federal law enforcement, believe it or not. We also have Joe Biden's doctor. He was supposed to be testifying today, but he took the fifth. And we're going to talk about that, what he's going to be covering up, if you will, and a whole lot more, including saying bye-bye to the Speedwagon. We also got some resignations, people leaving Elon Musk companies. And not just X, with CEO of X announced that she has decided to step down as the CEO. That's Linda Yaccarino, or I always say her last name wrong, but I think you guys get it. We'll get all that. Let me jump into the chats really quick. Sugar Bear's in the house. Pixie's in the house. Forward. Hello, hello, hello. Becky Boo. Let's see. Tammy Howard. Jay Lynn is in the house. Let me get down to the bottom here. Renee is in the house. Jan Garner's in the house. And Matt, First Amendment Media. And want to thank you all for jumping in here and joining. We actually started a little early today because I don't know, but I think this show could run a little long because we do have a lot to cover. And it's just been, when you wake up in the morning and you turn on and it just seems like the news cycle is going crazy. Kimber says Elon went cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs. Yeah, it seems like the last 5 weeks, and we're going to talk about that in a minute, but it hasn't been the best 5 weeks of his life. Also, last night, if you guys follow me on X, you know I was sharing some stuff. Some crazy footage of more flash floods in New Mexico. Now, it's not uncommon to get these in Mexico. I've been in 2 flash floods in New Mexico and 1 in Arizona over my lifetime, and it's kind of crazy. It's kind of crazy. I remember when I was like, I don't know, 14 years old, and I was with my mom and we were going through New Mexico, and I can't remember if we got an emergency alert on the radio or whatever, but somehow we knew there was going to be a flash flood. We ended up pulling over at a gas station, and it was kind of off the highway, a little bit higher than the road. And that whole freeway, man, was like under at least 8 inches of water. It seemed like in minutes. This is from Matt Van Swole. He put, shocking footage has emerged the exact moment flash flooding began in Ruidoso. Is that how you say it? New Mexico. It rose from 18 inches to more than 20 feet. I also looked this morning. I don't know. I haven't seen any updates. I just put this on here 2 hours ago. And one of the things that I heard on the news this morning is there is a search and rescue effort underway for a couple children. Pray for them. But take a look at that. Looks like just some rain and a small little creek there. Just incredible footage there. Mother Nature. Don't know if it's been enhanced with cloud seeding. Don't know if we're manipulating the weather. And I'm not talking about cloud seeding this week. I'm sure there's some long-term effects from messing with Mother Nature. It's something that we talk about. I don't think it's a good idea. We got Jan Garner in the house. Oreo Army Challenge. Please give whatever you can so that we can keep Josh on the road and give us our news. If you're like me, this is my news outlet and not MSM. Thanks in advance. Thank you so much, Jan Garner, for that challenge. And thank you guys all for helping us out. We are 100% viewer funded. We are brought on the air by you. All our travel is thanks to your donations. And Jan, it is an absolute blessing. Thank you so much for that. And we appreciate the challenges, and we appreciate everybody who jumps into those challenges. This was another one I seen, and it says this was about 40 minutes ago. It says the city of Mebane, North Carolina, has just issued a code red emergency after severe flooding damage, saying it has less than 2 days of drinking water left. The city is calling for everyone not to use any water at all other than for limited drinking water. This is kind of an area, overhead shot of that. If you take a look right there, you can see they're flooded. And again, we've seen this a lot in areas like this. But prayers for all those people. Prayers for all those people. It seemed like Alabama was getting a lot of rain last night. I didn't see video of this, so I don't know if it was, how true it was, but I know Chicago received like 6 inches of rain. And so kind of crazy. So as we told you yesterday, if you were on the show, take a look at it, see if we can put it up on here. It is officially gone. There you go. The Speedwagon is off to somebody who's going to work on repairing it and probably flip it. We got rid of the Speedwagon yesterday, and lots of memories. I put a post on Facebook, and people were putting up posts how they remember it with the convoy, or how many times has that thing gone to DC? It went, I'm going to say specifically that car. It was, I want to say 4 times. We also did it in a rental car. We also came back in the van. We've been back to the East Coast quite a bit over the last few years. Also, it's been vandalized multiple times from Antifa, Trans-Tifa, if you guys remember that. It's been, we just showed you the flooding. It's been through the tropical storm. I don't know how it survived it when we were doing storm chasing in Southern California. I don't know how that thing maintained. But you know what? It was a lot of memories, and it was a good little car. And we will be working on getting something replaced. So part of the reason we're not going to some of these little things right now is we just don't have a vehicle. We have to rent a vehicle. We don't have one that's that great on long distances. Don't want to get 200 miles away and be broke down with no financing to get us fixed up. So we will be doing something to try to get us a little fuel efficient car, just something to get around with over the next probably 4 to 6 weeks, because there's been a lot of things I've been invited to, even LA, some of the riots and stuff. The reason why is because renting a car, doing all this, but we're going to be working on some of this stuff. The money I actually got, it was sold for $800. The money that we got for that, I've already ordered about 80% of the parts for the other vehicle that I have, our family vehicle, that is in dire need of repair. And actually last night at like 9 o'clock, I was underneath that vehicle trying to figure out everything we needed for the front end. It has some issues with the wheel bearings and some other stuff. And so we'll get that worked on hopefully this weekend and get that up and going. And then we'll do some type of fundraiser. I don't know if we'll do police calls, if we'll do get a rental car and go on a trip if something big breaks. And we'll kind of try to use that as a way to fundraise for another vehicle. But again, thank you for all your support. That thing has been, that thing went through hell and back. It went through hell and back. And we're excited to move forward and move on. I think that car had been in 26 states, something like that. I used to keep count. Well, some of the news that have come out this morning, I don't know if you guys have been paying attention to it, but we're not going to cover everything. But there's been a lot of blowups with Elon. Now he's going after Steve Bannon, saying Steve Bannon's on the Epstein list, using the fact that the Epstein list, that we don't have any more information on that, trying to use that to recruit for his quote American Party. And also, there's been some issues with Grok where it's been left leaning, and somehow yesterday, I don't know what they hit a switch to, but it went like full berserk and was saying stuff like literally somebody asked Grok if they wanted to break into somebody's house and rape them, how to do it, and Grok kind of did a detailed scenario of that. Again, crazy stuff, right? Well, this morning, it was announced that Linda Userno is out as CEX after 2 years with X. If you guys remember when Trump hired her, we were very critical of it. She was definitely not a CEO style person. We thought Elon Musk would put in there, but it didn't work out too bad. It's still not 100% free speech. It's still not 100% unlimited reach on there. But take a look at this letter here. Let me see if this one. Actually, let me do something really quick so I can get this in the middle. Trying to. Yeah, I'll have to work on that another time. But it's over there on the right side of the screen. Not that big of a deal. I think I messed it up. Hold on. Anyways, we'll worry about that later. It says, after 2 incredible years, I've decided to step down as CEO of X. When Elon Musk and I first spoke of his vision for X, I knew it would be the opportunity of a lifetime to carry out the extraordinary mission of this company. I'm immensely grateful to him for entrusting me with the responsibility of protecting free speech, turning the company around, and transforming X into everything app. I'm incredibly proud of the X team. The historic business turnaround we have accomplished together has been nothing short of remarkable. We started with the critical early work necessary to prioritize the safety of our users, especially children, and to restore advertisers' confidence. The team has worked relentlessly from groundbreaking innovations like Community Notes and soon X Money to bringing the most iconic voices and content to the platform. Now, the best is yet to come as X enters a new chapter with XAI. X is truly a digital town square for all voices and the world's most powerful cultural signal. We couldn't have achieved this without the support of our users, business partners, and the most innovative team in the world. I'll be cheering you all on as you continue to change the world. As always, I'll see you on X. Now, I'm just going to tell you my opinion. That's she professional way to exit, professional way to do what she's doing. However, over the last couple weeks, Elon Musk has pretty much been in a temper tantrum for 5 weeks. He's pretty much backstabbed Trump. He's gone on and literally tried to change everything that he said he was once for, with helping build Trump's team, helping make Trump successful. He's seen his vision. He knew Trump's vision. He knew about the one big, beautiful bill. And then all of a sudden, 5 weeks ago, he comes out with a black eye, probably from Scott Bessent. I think there was some fighting inside there. That would be my take on it. And literally got the key to the White House. Remember, if you remember Trump doing that, and then just went off the rails. And We have talked about this numerous times, even when he was buddy with Trump, even before when he started saying he was going to support Trump. I think that the day that he really came out and did it was after the assassination attempt in Pennsylvania. And I've said this forever. The guy works like Trump. He works 23 hours a day. But the problem with him is that he's emotional and he goes through his phases. Very similar, and I'm not bashing the guy either. I think Elon Musk is incredible. He's one of those guys, if you can keep him between the rails, you can get that guy to fix any company, fix anything. But he's come out now with the American Party. And what's funny is we talked about this the other day, and people were worried that he would siphon off MAGA. Now he's using Epstein to siphon off MAGA. I don't see that happening. Not true MAGA. You're not going to get true MAGA to leave over one thing. And I'm going to be honest. Let's talk about the Epstein files just for a second. I always need time to process things. Sometimes I don't want to say things on the podcast just on a whim. And I started thinking about it last night. I would love for the Epstein list to come out. I want people to be held accountable. I still don't know exactly what's going on. I don't think any of us know. But when I went down my list of why I wanted Trump to run again and what I wanted to happen to the country, between first thing I wanted was securing the border. That's been done. Then I wanted mass deportations. That's in the process. There's a lot of things I went through, and I went through this last night, and I thought, where was the Epstein client list? It wasn't in my top 10. It really wasn't. I do want something to happen. We're not talking about the Epstein client list, but I'm just trying to relate to how I think it would be great if we, but I also, in the back of my mind, we're going to talk about a new FBI investigation. I also, in the back of my mind, thought, we'll probably never see justice. You just don't see justice when it's high-powered people, unfortunately. And it doesn't matter who the president is. Trump can't go in there and arrest people himself. But let's get back to this. So Elon Musk is kind of going off the rails. He's thrown Steve Bannon. Listen to what Steve Bannon had to say about Linda's exit from the company.
That came with the job. You,
well, yeah.
Blockbuster news coming in even as we speak. Linda Yaccarino steps down as CEO of Elon Musk Twitter or X. Hey, Linda, you can run, baby, but you can't hide. You're not going to hide from the lawsuits, girl. We know why you're stepping down and why you're running. Okay, we understand why you're stepping down and why you're running. That Elmo's out of control. Sorry, baby. That came with the job. You took the job. You took the pay. You took the warrants. You took the stock options. You took all, the hundreds of millions of dollars you're going to make. No. If you can't keep Elmo in the nursery and keep him under control, you're going to pay a price. You are going to pay a price. It doesn't matter that you're resigning today, baby. The whole scam over there, the whole complete scam of Elmo is going to be taken apart brick by brick. Okay, brick by brick, all of it. You will be stunned at what you will find out.
Now, I don't know if we'll be stunned or not. I don't know, again, if Elon, again, we just talked about powerful people with a lot of money. It seems like they kind of are the ones above the law in many cases. But I just think it's interesting. In the last 24 hours, the CEO, Linda, has stepped down from X. The head of infrastructure engineering at XAI resigned yesterday. And the vice president of software engineering at Tesla has resigned. Now, I didn't put a whole lot of effort into covering some of the other stuff, but there was also some backers that was going to be doing some stuff with Elon for one of his companies. I don't even know which company. They said they're not gonna invest their money now. You are seeing. Here it is. This is it. James Fishback. He says, my investment firm Azoria has decided to postpone next week's public listing of our Azoria Tesla convexity ETF. And this was Saturday. This was Saturday, July 5th. And take a look at this letter here. It says, "Dear Miss Denholm, I am writing you to inform you that Azoria's is positioning next week's public listing of the Azoria Tesla Convexity ETF. Our decision comes in direct response to Mr. Musk's announcement that he is launching a new national political party. This creates a conflict with his full-time responsibilities as CEO of Tesla. It diverts his focus and energy away from Tesla employees and shareholders." Now, we've seen this all before when he got on the campaign with Trump as well, not saying this is going to do anything. I think Elon is a really resilient guy. I think for the most part, he gets through stuff, but it seems like he's just going in this downward spiral. And it's not a great thing for our country. It's unfortunate. And I would love it just to get back to some normalcy. There was always rumors of him using certain prescription drugs and everything. I'm not even alluding to that. What I'm alluding to is it's been his personality. He has broke before. Remember when he smoked weed on Joe Rogan that time while he had government contracts, while he was sleeping on the floor of the Tesla plant, and he straightened up, but it took him. It was almost like, and you guys might, I think most of you are old enough to remember Charlie Sheen when live streaming kind of first came out, and Charlie Sheen was all coked out and just going crazy. If it was today, it'd be #winning. It's almost like one of those. We're going to follow up on this story. We're going to see how it ends up, but just crazy. I wanted to pull this up. We don't have a whole lot to talk about on this one, but what we are talking about is how many remember, it's been 8-9 years now, the shift of the GOP, the shift of the Republican Party. And what I want to say about that is we had people like myself who didn't like the GOP, didn't like the way I was a conservative, didn't like the way things were being handled. And we also talked about another party. Remember that? We got to create our own party. It's something that's in it for us. And then Donald Trump came around. And we were finally, the forgotten people kind of had a voice. People like me and you, we had a voice. But that voice was being silenced, not just by Democrats, but by the Lindsey Grahams of the world. All the people that were establishment GOP people. And we would sit there and we'd be like, wait a second, this isn't working out right. And Trump, if you remember his first administration, it literally took him being impeached multiple times before these people like Lindsey Graham and Mitch McConnell Turtlehead's still there. But we kind of took the GOP and made it our own. And there's still a lot of work to do. Don't get me wrong. Well, the Democrats are facing that same problem. Their constituents are not happy with their party. Their party went really far left, and many people say that's not far left enough. Hence, what we've seen in the New York mayor's race, the New York City mayor, where they elected pretty much a Muslim communist, or they will be electing a Muslim communist, and the Democrat Party didn't know what to do. They didn't know whether to endorse this guy. They didn't know whether to, he's a little extreme, and they're kind of filling the waters. And what they're realizing, in my opinion right now, is they are losing some of their base. The Democrats are. You have people that, very similar to what happened in the Republican Party. People were like, you guys talk a big game, but all you do is give in to the Democrats. Remember, I used to say this a lot in 2015. I was like, every time you hear a Republican say he's being bipartisan and reaching across the aisle, you just lost something as an American. There's no such thing as being bipartisan because, again, what we were doing is Democrats continued to win. Republicans had no spine, and there's still a lot of that in the Republican Party. We talk about it all the time. Well, listen, Hakeem Jeffries, the dollar store Obama, was asked about progressives wanting to primary him for opposing the left. And listen to his response right here. Listen to his response.
CNN has new reporting that some progressives who empowered Mamdani to victory now want to primary you and other Democrats in New York City. The co-chair of the New York Democratic Socialists of America says he thinks you're picking fights, quote, with the left instead of focusing on fighting the right, his words. Asked whether Mamdani thinks those House incumbent challenges should happen, his press secretary told CNN he was declining to comment, at least for now. How do you respond?
I have no idea what these people are talking about. We are going to continue to focus our efforts as we did on the House floor in connection with Donald Trump's one big ugly bill on pushing back against the extremism that has been unleashed on the American people. It's clear to us as House Democrats, it's clear to us as members of the New York City delegation that the problem is Donald Trump and House Republicans.
CNN has new reporting.
The problem is
that,
Donald
some
Trump, no
progressives
accountability. So if you guys don't see what's happening here, they said the Democrat Socialist of America. Now, remember, when we've had these fire bombings at Tesla dealerships and we go out to these violent, extreme violent protests, a lot of times DSA, Democrat Socialist of America, has some type of ties, whether these people were just followers of DSA. We've covered DSA for many years now. We've talked about them for many years. So what they are doing, and it's very similar to what we've seen in the LGBT movement. It seems like in the LGBT movement, when they added the T, that the entire movement got hijacked. We always joke. My friend was here. I don't know if he's in the I Am Not a Milkman was here. And I said, remember, dude, we used to go out. We used to party and stuff. It didn't matter if you were gay, lesbian, whatever you were. And these people were so cool. Like, you didn't judge them. Might not be the lifestyle for you. I'm like, what happened to them? And he joked and he mentioned a couple people that we used to hang out with. I go, they're still there. They're just being overshadowed right now by the extreme side of what the ideology of the trans agenda or worship me. And we got a funny article coming up and a great video from one of my board of supervisors here in Fresno County. It was epic. Kind of goes to show you how crazy this group has become. I think you're going to see that, and we've been seeing it for a long time with the Democrat Party. I remember, and I don't know what it was, 2014, 2015, I remember Nancy Pelosi, when I was really starting to do my own research and look into stuff, Nancy Pelosi being booed off stage by Code Pink. And I was like, aren't they on the same side? And then I realized the more they do this, it's just like the BLM riots. There's a lot of cities that said, we're not defunding our police, and their city started burning down. And then these people that didn't have any jobs were at the city council meetings. And all of a sudden they're like, oh, well, yeah, we need social workers out there. I mean, it changed like that, folks. I think you're going to see that with a Democrat. I think they're going to be rebranded. You're going to see people like Hakeem Jeffries that only worries about re-election. He's not worried about the constituent. He's not worried about the United States of America. You're going to see these people, and you're going to see more extremists on the platform like Ian Omar will be lifted up. Right now, I think a lot of Democrats look at her like, oh, we just got to be nice because of the color of her skin. And no, they're going to be raising these people up like they are the current candidate for the mayor of New York City. And answers like just blaming Trump and saying you did a good job on the big, beautiful bill. I'm just going to tell you, if I was a Democrat and you said you did a good job on that, the damn bill passed, idiot. You didn't do a good job. And I'm not bashing Democrats for not doing. I've been in that same position for years. Biden was just president. And guess what? These Republicans that want to fight so hard did nothing but watch our country get trashed, inflation go through the roof. It's just crazy. But I wanted to bring that up. I thought it was really relevant to what we talk about here.
And other Democrats.
Speaking of what's going on, so Fresno County Board of Supervisors, and I want to first show you fake news, which is the Fresno Flea. You guys know when we're out and reporting, we talk about the Fresno Flea. They're a failing, bankrupt company. When we were out the day after I was violently attacked by Trans Tifa, we were out there and one of the reporters was out there just hoping to get a scoop. And I called him out, and again, he goes, "Oh, I thought you got arrested yesterday," knowing damn well that he's seen it was on every news station that I was violently attacked, that the person that attacked me, Ethan Kroll, was arrested, charged with a felony. He knew everything. I want you to show you how the left considers your tax dollars discrimination when it can't be used on their pride parade for what? Condoms, lube, and materials. Well, guess what? Gary Bredefield used to be Fresno City Council, ran for Board of Supervisors, and he says, I want to shake things up. I want to clean things up there. There's a lot going on that I can do over there. And he was elected. He was elected. I had his yard sign in my front yard. And it was a tough decision because I didn't dislike the candidate he was running for, but I knew we needed a bull in a china shop. And when he came by my house, because he walked all these neighborhoods the old school politician way, shook people's hands, I knew he was going to be elected. And I knew that I knew that when he got there, what would happen, and that he would go against the grain. So listen to this. I want to show you this article, and then we'll show you the video of one of the extremists in Fresno they interviewed. It said a divided Fresno County Board of Supervisors adopted a new spending limit. Let me put it up on the screen. A new spending limit on public events. Listen, so it's on all public events, and members of the LGBTQ plus community say are discriminatory. Well, you guys are going to love this one. It says the new administrative policy, adopted 3-2, requires county departments to ask for approval from the board for spending at community events and different causes. The list of what causes or holidays that will be supported is still up for debate. And officials on Tuesday said they expected to discuss it in August. I might be at that board meeting. Officials said the county did not have such a policy before, although supervisors themselves must get any expenditure of more than $1,500 approved by the board. The new policy would align the new administrative policy with the one the board follows, according to Paul Nerland, the chief administrative officer. And listen to this. The policy comes after Supervisor Gary Bredefield expressed outrage that the county had spent $6,000 in June during the Pride Month parade and event where the Department of Health employees passed out condoms, lube, and informational material, guys. $6,000 on condoms, lube, and informational material. That's a way for checks and balances to make sure taxpayer money is spent appropriately, Bredefield said on Tuesday. I don't feel that money is spent appropriately as it was the gay pride parade. He said he compared to handing out the condoms to a county program that allows intravenous drug users to exchange hypodermic needles at a clinic, which he also said was a poor use of tax dollars. Agree with Gary Bredefield 100%. He also said that the Fresno County library should not highlight the month to make sure our department don't go woke, don't buy into the nonsense that unfortunately involves gender ideology and trans and all the other stuff that is destructive to our children. Let's listen to this one. Let's see if this is gonna go up here. Hold on, I'm gonna refresh this really quick because one of the Fresno extremists from the LGBT is on here. It looks like they interviewed. Let's see. I'm waiting for full screen to pop up. It is a Fresno.
I am shocked. I am shocked and surprised that we had the outcome, which was that they voted to approve the policy, because everyone that was here to speak about it was in opposition to it. There was one person that spoke out in favor of it. They printed out the public comments that they received by email. There was not one that was in favor of the policy in that as well, and yet still it was passed 3-2. Well, it's so important because public health is very important to our community, and by them passing this policy, it means that they are going to be able to tell county departments where they can and can't participate in, and this is just the first step in that process. So just now they're saying, now we have a policy where we can do it. Well, the next step when they come back in a month is that is most likely what they will do.
Incinerator garbage disposals are built to last.
So, needless to say right there, of course, the Fresno Bee is a far left rag that promotes all the ideology of the trans community and everything else and attacks conservatives. That same person, that is the person in charge of LGBT Fresno. That same person puts pictures of me up on their Instagram and other pages with the term like "stop hate" when they're inviting people. It's me speaking at the CUSD or the City of Clovis board meeting. These people, and I just want to say what's funny. He said, "Well, everybody that spoke was for it. What was against this? Was against this." That's because the working folks that didn't take a Tuesday morning off to sit there and say we need free lube and free condoms was at work paying those tax dollars that the county is spending. That's why. Gary knows who his constituents are. The other two that voted in line with Gary knows who their constituents are, and we need to stop this wokeness. They just don't get it. But I want to show you a video of Gary Bredefeld, just absolutely epic. Haha sent me this yesterday. I was not watching the board meeting because obviously I was live here in the studio. Take a listen to this, and you guys are going to love it. This is why I think so many people vote for Gary Bredefeld.
Obligation to make sure that our departments don't go woke. Don't buy into the nonsense that unfortunately involves gender ideology and trans and all the other stuff that's destructive to our children. I'm going to fight it every which way, no matter where I am, no matter what governmental body I serve on. Just as I did at the city, I'm going to do it at the county. They don't like it, tough. That's the way it goes. And many people, our constituents, support us and want us to stand up to this stuff and bring back sanity. Lastly, I'd like to recognize a reporter from the Bee. Welcome to the chamber. I'm glad you've been. I haven't seen you here for 6 months. We've done catalytic converters. We've done copper wire theft. We've dealt with illegal dog breedings, important issues in our community. And all you write about is woke nonsense. You promote all this other stuff that's divisive in our community, and that's why you're a bankrupt organization. I hope you pass that on to your editors, because this county's doing very important things, and all you write is a bunch of crap. And that's why you're a bankrupt organization. So welcome. We hope to see you again for something that's really meaningful.
I love it. I love it. I love it. That was absolutely epic. Hats off to Gary Bredefeld. Again, I remember talking to people when this election was going on. He was running up against Steve Brandow, and I ran into somebody, and they said, "Oh yeah, Steve's got this in the bag." And I said, "Oh no, Steve does not. He's been up there. He hasn't rattled the cage. we need change at the county of Fresno. And they're like, do you really think Gary's going to, I mean, Steve's had the seat. And I said, oh no, not only is Gary going door to door, people know him as a fighter, unapologetic fighter. And that's what he was doing. I just love the fact that he was up there speaking. And again, if we are in town, maybe we will cut out the live stream. We won't do a live stream that day so we can go down there, thank Gary, and then speak on behalf that my tax dollars, your tax dollars should not be going to lube and condoms for the Pride Parade. Get a damn job, buy it yourself. So I just want to ask you guys, we had a kind of another win after a major loss, kind of. How many people remember this? I'm going to put this up here. I want to see how many people remember this from, I think it was 2016. Avoid the line. Vote from home. Text Hillary to 59925. Vote for Hillary and be part of history. How many remember this meme? It was funny. Well, that person that created that meme was arrested, prosecuted, and put in jail for a meme under the Biden administration. And today we did get a win, or he got a win. That was Douglas Mackey who did that. And today he reports, check this out, that he put, breaking, the Second Circuit Court of Appeals has thrown out my conviction for lack of evidence. The case has been remanded to the district court with orders to immediately dismiss. This is awesome news. This is awesome news. He put, praise God, God is good. Now we sue. Unanimous decision by both Republican and Democrat judges. And he goes, he also did another one that says, I would like to thank God, thank my family, thank my beautiful wife, attorney Andrew Frisch, the incredible attorneys at Jones Day, and you, the friends who prayed and donated and spread the word since day one. And he put, I can finally get my guns back. This is here is the picture of that. Now, when we talked about censorship, you guys know my hat always said when we created the Oreo Express, and even before that, one of our mottos was make speech free again. I don't care if I disagree with your speech. I will fight for it. If somebody's trying to shut down an abortion rights rally, I would be upset with that, as long as they're not breaking the law. But if they're just exercising their true First Amendment, which means not blocking the roads, not vandalizing buildings, I would be there in my MAGA hat defending their right to the First Amendment. It's one of the biggest pillars to this great country. And when they prosecuted this man, we covered it extensively back then. I could not believe somebody was going to be going to jail for a meme. And the reason why is because this person, that meme was making fun of Hillary Clinton. Luckily, he didn't get Clintoned. So I think I just wanted to bring up that story. I think that is a huge win. And I think it's great that we got that. Next thing we want to pull up, let it load up here, is a tweet we did last night. FBI launches investigation into former CIA director John Brennan and former FBI director Jim Comey for the misconduct during the Trump-Russia probe. This is, we'll get into a longer
that former
video,
DOJ sources are telling Fox News Digital that former CIA Director John Brennan and former FBI Director Jim Comey are now both under criminal investigation. What would be for potential wrongdoing?
We'll get into a little bit more of this. And I want to pull this up. This is
claiming
a little bit longer video than that, but take a look at this really quick. And we've covered this extensively. We've talked about all I I mean, from the time Trump came down those escalators, they were illegally spying on him. I mean, they did a lot of things. And take a look at this.
And another story, former CIA Director John Brennan and former FBI Director James Comey are under criminal investigation for potential wrongdoing related to the Trump-Russia probe, according to sources at the Justice Department. And Josh Holmes, as co-host of the Ruthless podcast, joins us now. Thank you for being here. Here's a little bit from a memo that John Ratcliffe put out called Lessons Learned on the 2016 Russia collusion story. The decision by agency heads to include the Steele dossier in the ICA ran counter to fundamental tradecraft principles and ultimately undermined the credibility of key judgment. I think a lot of Democrats might have expected this story to just go away, but it is not. And now you have this development with possible, an FBI investigation underway, criminal investigation. Josh.
Yeah, good morning, Dana. This is a long time coming, in my view. This is the investigation that should have been happening in 2017 rather than the Russian collusion investigation. John Brennan is one of the most nakedly political humans to ever serve as an intelligence chief in this country and almost any other. I mean, that's a pretty high bar if you think about it. But if you take a rewind of the tape and look back, it was John Brennan who briefed Hillary Clinton's campaign on the Russian collusion narrative while he was doing all of this with the Steele dossier. He was at least aware of the Clinton campaign's opinion that they wanted to inject this false narrative into the waning days of the 2016 campaign. We know that from notes that were disclosed by him. And then he tried to run cover by going to congressional leaders, then Speaker Ryan, then Leader McConnell, to try to get them to sign off and provide cover for what Hillary Clinton was claiming. Fortunately, they refused to do so at the time. But then after he got out of office, this is one of the biggest purveyors of misinformation on this narrative anywhere in the world, at least this side of Adam Schiff. This is a guy who signed a whole bunch of television contracts, who then sort of wink and nod and just believe me because I've got the intelligence that you're not privy to, that all of this is on the up and up. This is absolutely catastrophic in terms of the American people's trust of our intelligence services. And it all goes back to people like John Brennan. I'm glad this investigation is happening.
With regard to Comey, he's not immune to controversy. Here's a few of them. Walking on the beach, he found that assortment of shells, right? 86-47, meaning get rid of the president. The Trump-Russia probe that you just referred to, Republicans say he politicized the FBI clearly when he was the leader of that group, and leaking classified memos are the accusations as well. Josh, oftentimes these cases go nowhere in Washington, D.C. However, this time, there are new bosses in town, a few new sheriffs in town, one big Maine sheriff in town. Do you think the outcome will be different because of those people who now have these jobs and they have authority to investigate?
It may very well, Bill. I mean, look, I think that critics are going to contend that this is, some sort of a retribution campaign by the Trump administration, but it's not. It's about something much, much larger than that, Bill. I mean, what we're talking about is that we already understand what James Comey and what Brennan and others were doing was unprofessional, morally bankrupt, inaccurate, didn't serve the country well. We know that for a fact. What we don't know is whether or not it was criminal and whether or not they engaged in a larger campaign with government hats on to try to undermine a Trump campaign and ultimately a Trump administration. That is what we're going to find out. And if they do find those ties, we're going to get into criminal territory. I don't think that this administration is interested in trying to sweep any of this under the rug. That's for sure.
No, I just wrote down 51 national security officials, all the ones who said that the Hunter Biden laptop was disinformation. I mean, these waters apparently run very deep. Josh, thanks. Great to have you today.
Yeah, thank you, Josh.
So
thanks, guys.
Now, you remember when Comey got out, he was very arrogant too, almost bragging about what they were able to do to Trump. They brought up a good point. You've seen the 86-47. They just happened to find that on the beach. I mean, we've been to a lot of beaches. We've been to a lot of places. We've traveled a lot. And we just never happen to hear anything like that. Now, some people are bringing up speculation that the timing of this investigation was very interesting after the pretty much no comment, no further information on the Epstein files. I think they've been working on this. I think I think this is one of the things we voted for, but we voted for justice. I'm done with investigations. I'm done with, we're going to do a strongly worded letter. I'm done with all these things that we've been seeing from the Republican Party. He had mentioned there's a new sheriff in town. We're going to find out if that sheriff, if Kash Patel is true or not when it comes to this. Because if nothing comes out of it other than just more clips and interviews, then it was a bust. We know, I know. She brought up the 51 intel people. I want you to listen to this. Literally, like James Comey, his arrogance, kind of admitting that the FBI sabotaged Trump and his administration, kind of admitting to sedition with a smile on his face. Take a listen to this.
There was process, and so if the
us now, and it's hard to imagine 2 FBI agents ending up in the same room. How did that happen?
I sent them. Something I probably wouldn't have done or maybe gotten away with in a more organized investigation, a more organized administration, in the George W. Bush administration, for example, or the Obama administration. In both of those administrations, there was process. And so if the FBI wanted to send agents into the White House itself to interview a senior official, you would work through the White House counsel, and there'd be discussions and approvals, and who would be there. And I thought, it's early enough, let's just send a couple guys over.
Us now, and it's hard to imagine 2 FBI agents.
It's early enough, let's just send a couple guys over. I mean, he has not hid the fact that he was a Democrat operative. He called himself a Republican for a long time. And I think I'm praying that justice is served. If they did break the law, if they did violate any of their oath, I want them to be prosecuted to the fullest extent of the law. Now, if I am a gambling man, a lot of people say, if I was a gambling man, I am a gambling man. I actually like to gamble. I don't do it very often, but I make bets all the time with people that are my friends, just on certain political stuff and everything like that. Hey, I bet you In-N-Out Burger, this happens. If I was a betting man right now and I said, will Comey or Brennan be prosecuted, I couldn't take that bet right now. And maybe new things will come out. We're going to cover it. Maybe new things will come out where I'm wrong. I think these people are very evil. Again, the rich, elite, powerful that get away with everything, which we have seen in every administration. So we'll definitely be following up on that. Now, how about this? How many people remember this guy? It's been a while. I'm pretty sure he doesn't remember you. He probably doesn't remember a whole lot of anything, but take a look here.
I've taken 3 significant and intense neurological exams by a neurologist. In each case, as recent as February. And they say I'm in good shape.
I don't think that there is a huge cover-up underway here, and I frankly don't think that matters.
He is sharp, intensely probing, and detail-oriented and focused.
He is as sharp as ever.
There is nothing to these challenges, these suggestions that somehow he's not sharp and he's not capable.
Joe Biden has vision. This is a very sharp president.
The president is absolutely sharp, fit on top of his game.
He seems sharp to me.
We all get a little older. That's what happens, but you also gain that insight.
He's 10 years older than he was 10 years ago.
Yes, fit for office.
The president is extremely effective.
This is a man who is sharp, who is on top of his game, who knows what's going on.
He's really good at being president of the United States.
Is the president all the way there? And the answer is unequivocally yes.
He's sharp. He probes.
He brings the wisdom, the knowledge, the judgment.
The president is more than up to this job.
There's not a problem.
I'm not lying.
If there ever is a problem, do you think that you could go tell the American public?
Of course, if necessary, but there's no need for that.
Well, why did Josh play this video? That's probably what you're asking. Well, because on up on the Hill today, Capitol Hill, Joe Biden's doctor was called to the Oversight Committee to have an interview. Let me show you some of the video of him going in and out of that interview if you'd like to take a look at that. And then at no surprise, we'll give you the conclusion of all that.
Dr. O'Connor,
Will you make any comments to press, sir?
Do you have a message for the committee?
Right there was a no comment. Let's see. I think we got another one. I think this one's obviously very similar. Let's see. Come on.
Dr. O'Connor,
What are you prepared to say?
was President Biden mentally fit to serve as president?
Dr. O'Connor, what's your message to the committee?
You think he was up to serve? Thank you. Have you told the truth the entire time that he was, in fact, up to serve?
Talk about cover-ups and things of that nature. Well, it looks like that. Here's a quick clip from Fox Business. That was Biden's former White House doctor. It looks like he invoked the Fifth Amendment to avoid questioning in his closed-door deposition. I'll pull up this interview here. Let's see. Oh, maybe if I did that.
Well, we know it was pretty short, only about a half an hour behind closed doors here. And Kevin O'Connor, we believe he may have invoked his Fifth Amendment privileges here. We tried to get him as he was just leaving just a couple of minutes ago. He did not respond to any of my questions, and he did not respond to my questions going in as well. Listen. Dr. O'Connor, good morning. Will you invoke the Fifth? What about patient-doctor confidentiality? What are you prepared to say? The Trump White House has...
Anybody in their right mind knows without a doubt there was a big cover-up for Joe Biden's cognitive decline, his health in general. We watched it unfold. All the people now that were covering up for him, we just need to move forward. Or, you know what? We're going to write a book and act like people were lying to us when we were the ones covering up for him. Now, his doctor would be one of those. Again, lying to the American people, putting the national security at risk, putting the country at stake by having somebody that is not cognitively able to pretty much run an ice cream stand. So it's going to be interesting to see how this goes. I want this to be a subpoena where we see some questions answered to Congress, and we need the truth to come out. We need whistleblowers to come out, because other people know about this. And again, when you're covering up, there is no, patient doctor privilege. When you're the president of the United States and you lied and you had one of the biggest cover-ups, the biggest lie to the country in the history of this world. Yeah. So check this out. Yesterday, we told you Gavin Newsom would be, where was he? In South Carolina. We got fires all over the state. We have a homeless crisis all over the state. And he is kicking off his 2028 presidential campaign. And I want to start off with this video here and then show you some of the other photos we have and show you almost like the childishness of stuff that he's coming out with. We've told you for weeks since Trump has been like making him his little, you know what, he just hasn't been able to control himself. Rage tweeting, constant lies online. But listen to this really quick, and we'll get into Gavin Newsom and what he said today.
The fact that you get a president of the United States, or at least former president that was running again, who wanted to put America in reverse, wanted to bring us back to a pre-1960s world on voting rights, civil rights, on women's rights, not just access to abortion, but access to contraceptive care. The fact that you get a president of the United States, or at least
if you
former
listen,
president.
it's kind of this. If you think about it, that's the same clip, the same thing we heard before the election, before the November election in 2024. It didn't work out too well for him. And then yesterday he tweeted this right here. This was a video, and a lot of people online were making comments about it. Will these people even be around to vote in the 2028 election? Just funny stuff. Take a look at this right here. And one thing I noticed, like many other things, mainly white people, it's like a Tesla rally where they have the Unite the White. Listen to him here, and then we'll get into his tweet from this morning.
Been an extraordinary day, and my state of mind is filled with gratitude and appreciation, particularly for all of you showing up tonight. I mean, this was a last minute thing, and they said we'll just throw it together, but don't, we're some rural parts of South Carolina, so don't expect many people. So you guys obviously didn't get that memo. So I'm just deeply grateful to all of you. But I want to pick up a little bit on what the congressman said, because I was struck by what he said about the book bans. I was struck what he said about some of the challenges and struggles that he continues to face with his colleagues in Washington, D.C. But on the book bans, I think it's sort of emblematic of the moment we're in. Last year there were 4,240 books banned in the United States of America. 4,240. You can look that up. It was a banning binge, the likes of which we've never experienced in the United States.
So when they ban a book, he's referring to like Nazi Germany. They gather the books, they burn them. By taking them out of a public library or a public school is not a ban. They're still available on every online store. The only book banning that we have seen recently was a bookstore in San Francisco that banned all of J.K. Rowling's books because of her the truth that she has been speaking.
There's been a cultural purge in this country. The congressman was exactly right. They tried to write out the race of Rosa Parks in the anti-woke legislation in states like Florida until they were caught doing that. One of the largest book.
I just want you to take a look at that picture right now. And if I put any of those people in front of you, would you have any question on who they voted for?
Publishers in the United States of America actually drafted that social studies book for their curriculum in Florida. They're banning speech in classrooms, but also in the boardrooms. DEI, ESG, CRT.
So again, if you look at the way we talked about this, when he had Charlie Kirk on, and I wasn't a big fan of Charlie Kirk giving him that platform. I told you that day we played some of the comments. I thought that was trying to help him get to the middle. So he looked like an average everyday Joe, and that's what he was trying to do. It obviously failed. Karen Sunflower gifted 5 subscriptions to the Oreo Express. Thank you so much, Karen. Thank you, Jan, for your Rumble challenge. Thank you guys for helping us out. We are 100% viewer funded. It's the beginning of the month. We're trying to get the bills paid. Your donations, your Rumble rants, they make a huge difference and bless us so that we can continue on. If you guys want to help out, Venmo at Oreo Josh, Cash App, $Oreo Army. GiveSendGo.com/Oreo 2024. Or if you do online and mobile banking, you can run over to our website, which is theoreoexpress.com. On our homepage, we have a donate now button. If you click that, the links to our Zelle is in there, so you can do a Zelle transfer from your mobile or online banking. And once again, thank you everybody for the blessings. We can't do it without you. He's talking about all the woke agenda stuff. When he even said himself on that show with Charlie Kirk that it was unfair that girls had to compete with males. And then just yesterday, was it yesterday or today's Wednesday, just Monday, the response, because, and we're going to get into it here in a minute, the response from California to our federal government was, no, we are not going to protect girls. We are going to continue to erase them. And that's Gavin Newsom. And he doesn't get it. I think it's going to be funny to watch him be destroyed. And I pray he is destroyed in the 2028 primary. Well, this morning, look at his tweet. This is funny. It says, "Happy birthday, Lindsey Graham. Great to be in a packed room in your hometown this morning." And if you look around, it's a pretty small room. I promise you, I know a lot of people on that aren't even politicians that don't have his thing that, I mean, I could probably fill up a room if I announced I was going to an area. I'm just being real with you. But again, it's like these childish tweets. "Happy birthday, Lindsey Graham. Great to be in a packed room in your hometown this morning." If I was Lindsey Graham, I'd say, why aren't you in California? Have you seen the price of your gas? Have you seen the price of your electricity? Have you seen the refineries leaving your state, closing down, going to be shooting up your gas to $8 to $10 a gallon? Are you crazy? Why are you in South Carolina? Just insane. And then speaking of California and the wokeism, let's listen to our Department of Education Secretary, McMahon, and see what is going on. Because again, they gave California an opportunity to comply with federal Title IX rules. And California said, we don't agree with those rules. We're going to continue to put men in women's sports.
The action you're taking today.
Well, Dana, thank you very much. You know, we investigated this. The Office of Civil Rights at the Department of Education investigated. We told Governor Newsom that we'd be investigating these violations. We found California to be in violation of Title IX. We turned it over to the Justice Department, and they announced this morning that they were filing suit against California. So, you know, this is something that President Trump campaigned on. His promises made and promises kept. I think it's just, it is just totally unfair to have men competing against women in sports, and also to share their intimate locker facilities, et cetera. And, you know, women fought hard for these rights, and it is the law, and the president means business with it.
They fought hard for those rights, and Democrats want to take them away. The extremist on the left. So a lawsuit has been filed. I'm a Californian. I'm sitting right here in Central California, the heart, the breadbasket of the world here, Fresno County, California. And I am more than pleased. I voted for Trump. This was high up on that list, was to protect females, to ensure that they would not be erased. I have, you know, my daughter's almost 19 now. She'll be 19 next month. And some of the things that she is seeing in her lifetime that I never seen, you know, I was allowed to be a child. I was allowed to be normal. I was allowed to go through school and everything else and go out in public without having all this indoctrination and this wickedness shoved down my throat. And Gavin Newsom has now doubled down again, even after admitting that it was unfair for the girls. So he's not standing up for girls. We knew this would be the case. And then he tweeted this out. So the Daily Beast is a fake news organization. We've known that. We used to remember when Pete Panties Patrizio was writing for them, and we would call them out all the time when we were back with the 1776 or the Convoy. He retweeted this article because it says Nancy Mace tweeted this right here, because Gavin Newsom would lose. It says, formal invitation, Gavin Newsom, let's debate. We will bring common sense policies. You bring your best hair gel. And the article says, face to face, Rep. Mace challenges Governor Newsom to debate during South Carolina visit. So again, and the only way possible to say I would get my ass kicked by you, Nancy Mace. I'm not going to get kicked out of the primary this early. He shares a fake story from the Daily Beast that says Nancy Mace accused of making staff use burner accounts to hype her up. And then Gavin Newsom, excuse me, retweeted that, said, "Is this you or one of your burner accounts? I can't honestly tell these days." The left is so bad with their online presence. They really are. And I think this is just hilarious. Again, Gavin Newsom in South Carolina. And then I also, this has to do with not just Gavin Newsom, but what we talked about with states like California, states that are trying to erase females. And this was shared today. It says, breaking. 2 girls are suing Oregon over allowing men to invade women's sports. The girls say they were inspired to file the lawsuit after witnessing the online dispute between Riley Gaines and Simone Biles. Remember, we covered that. It says men don't belong in women's sports. But take a look at this. You know what's funny is I the one thing that I don't love about my country is I always thought men would stand up for women. I always thought they would stand up for their children, their daughters, and just plain chaos. And when I got involved in politics, I remember saying, "Oh, if I ever heard that a boy was changing in my girl's locker room, I'd be down at the school." Blah blah blah. Yeah, lot of testosterone coming out the mouth, but not enough in your balls to do anything. And we have seen constantly when I organized over 100 people to come to the CUSD school board meeting, probably in late 2015, early 2016. Very few men spoke up. It was moms, mama bears, grandma bears, all those people. And it's just disgusting to me. And it's more disgusting to me that these young females are having to fight for themselves and nobody's standing up for them. Take a look at this. Why isn't it popping up?
As we've worked towards this lawsuit, I think as more time has gone on, I felt more and more confident in what we're doing. And I think especially when Riley Gaines and Simone Biles, when that whole thing happened, and kind of seeing how that played out and how the public responded, I think that was encouraging to see how many people are on the side of protecting women's sports. And so I found that encouraging.
Yeah, I would agree. That scenario was very timely for us filing this lawsuit. And I agree with Sophia that it was super encouraging to see Riley just stay strong, have the supporters that really count, that really matter in this situation, and just like surround her and give her support. So that definitely affirmed that I have people out there for me. I have my family. I have the people that matter care, and I now have no fear of it.
I would watch her like at the Olympics every 4 years. But it was shocking for me to think like, man, the GOAT, you like so many girls look up to you. So many people admire what you've done. And now you're just like almost backstabbing in a way, like everything that like we looked up to you for like being this representative in women's sports. And now you're going to like turn around and say that, you know?
Yeah, I just watched her in the Olympics as well. And I'm not really into gymnastics, but everyone knows her. And to have that like status and that influence in so many people's life is something so precious, and you really have to be careful with that. And you can see after her comments, even just the petty like body shaming of Riley Gaines, that was such a low blow. And yeah, I definitely don't look up to her in the same way I did.
You know, if you don't have kids that are actively in sports, especially daughters, I think a lot of people don't pay as much attention to this issue. And I think that with that whole Simone Biles and Riley Gaines, with all that fallout, that definitely brought some more attention, because this huge name, Simone Biles, everyone knows who that is. You know, so many people respect her. And, you know, as bad as it is that she said that, it kept it in the news cycle. It kept people looking and saying, hey, this issue in girls sports, like this is happening a lot more than we think it is.
Yeah, it was
That's
definitely a
great
good conversation starter.
that people are standing up. It's sad it has to be these young women. I'm sure a lot of them were raised that society is here to protect you in a sense. We're not going to let you down. And that's just not the case in society anymore. We're trying to bring that back. That's what's part of making America great again. And it's unfortunate. It's unfortunate, man. Again, where's the fathers? Where's the men at? Where are these elected representatives that are men? And instead of just, oh, this is a hot topic, I'll talk about it now. We're fighting for women's rights. Get out there, do something. Care about women as much as Democrats care about illegals. How about that? Let me have some elected leaders go out there when there's CIF state championships. Show me how much you really care. Nope. All right, now we're going to get into some immigration border stuff. LA Mayor Karen Bass, you won't believe who she had at a guest yesterday. Once again, we ratioed her again on X. I thought was hilarious. I haven't checked out the ratio this morning, but I think you guys will like it. Let's see. Yep, we ratioed her again. Their policies, everything is unpopular, and they're starting to understand that. So over the last couple days, we had 10 arrested in one part of Texas. We had others arrested in another part of Texas. We've had a couple ICE agents assaulted, 2 of them shot, 1 in the neck, 1 in the knee. Actually, the 1 in the knee was a law enforcement officer from Texas because he was at an ICE facility. They ambushed an ICE facility, literally plotted to kill our immigrations and customs enforcement officers. And so Hakeem Jeffries, the dollar store Obama, refuses to address the specific calls for blood and violence. Now, if you guys remember, I don't know if you were watching, but we covered an Axios report where they talk to Democrats and say, what are your constituents saying? Their constituents were saying everything from, we want you to interrupt press conferences and get arrested, which we've been seeing. The photo ops, the political theater, where we want you to be willing to take a bullet for the illegal aliens, all these other things. They want it to go drastically south when it comes to just any civility in the United States. And take a listen to the dollar store Obama really quick.
Meetings in Democrat. Many of your Democratic colleagues are facing angry voters back in their districts. According to Axios, some are even being told they need to be more willing to go out there and get shot when fighting. That was a direct quote, get shot when fighting back against some of Trump's policies. One House Democrat saying, quote, and I'll read it to you, our own base is telling us that what we're doing is not good enough. There needs to be blood to grab the attention of the press and the public. How do you respond to that, Leader Jeffries? Are Democrats not meeting the moment, not doing enough to fight these developments?
Well, we are in a more is more environment in terms of the unprecedented assault on the American way of life and our country that has been launched by Donald Trump and compliant House Republicans. More speeches, more rallies, more protests, more sit-ins, more press conferences, more town.
Hold on. All talk, no action. This is what I love about the Democrats right now. They're just going to filibuster. They're going to have more protest, but no action.
Hall meetings in Democratic districts and Republican districts. We're in a more is more environment, and we'll continue to lean in aggressively. At the same period of time, we also are going to span out across the country and talk to the American people about our affirmative vision for making their life better. Imagine a country where everyone can afford to live the good life, a good paying job, good health care, good housing, good education for your children, and a good retirement. That's what Democrats are working hard to bring about. When you work.
I just want to stop it there. A good life. They had the House, the Senate, and the presidency over the last 4 years. You know what happened? Our prices went up substantially, sometimes up 64%. Your grocery prices went up. Your electricity cost went up. The cost for you to buy a car or health insurance went up. All the Democrat policies destroy lower and middle class. When they say that Trump's in there for the rich, I just think it's funny because they said that the first time. And who benefited up until the man-made COVID virus? Who benefited? Me and you, the working class Americans. And I just think it's funny. He won't denounce the calls for violence. He won't say, hey, that's not the way to go. We can do this civilly. And then once again, he brings up how hard they're working. Remember how hard they were working outside of USAID trying to break into the building because they wanted to save their slush fund? And once we cut off a lot of the money going to these NGOs and these different agencies, all of a sudden Democrats announced that they don't have any money in their coffers. Yeah, well, that's kind of how it goes. And that's what we told you would happen. Now check this out. Speaking of Democrats, our communist, Mayor Karen Bass, yesterday, we showed you that she was out at the meth homeless park because there was an ICE raid going on. It was a show of force, and it was a beautiful show of force. Pretty much letting, whether it's the illegals, the communist residents, or the city council, and we got an interesting city council clip coming up, but that, hey, we're here to stay. We just got the one big, beautiful bill passed. That's 10,000 ICE agents. We're not going nowhere. And then she put this out here. I couldn't believe this yesterday. It says, I just met with Ambassador Carlos Gonzalez Gutierrez, Consul General of Mexico in LA, to discuss the ongoing ICE raids in the city. And then she finishes with Los Angeles remains committed to protecting the rights and dignity of all Angelenos. What? So you are actively fighting, and we'll tell you what she did right after this meeting, which I think you guys will find interesting. Now, is she working on a foreign country's behalf, or is she working for the United States citizens? I put this right here. So if you look at this, this tweet has 582,000 views already. She got 877 likes, and all I did was put, why do Democrats put foreigners and their nations ahead of the United States? And if you look at that, only 6,000 people have seen mine and already 1,100 likes. Another ratio. Now, what's interesting is shortly, and we'll get into it, shortly after this, she announces that she's joining a class action lawsuit to sue our federal government because she don't want ICE raids in LA. Here she is meeting with the ambassador, the Consul General of Mexico. That is a foreign country, whether they're a partner of ours, whether they're a friend of our countries, it doesn't matter. She said she was discussing the ongoing ICE raids in the city. And this wasn't a normal conversation that I would have. If you guys sat me down with the Consul General of Mexico, I'm going to say, I need you to send buses up here and take your people home. Plain and simple. That's not the conversation, folks. When we have LA, I won't even go into the homelessness, but LA has turned into an absolute crap hole. Pixie thought she was going to get 5 in the cuss jar there. I caught myself. And then later on in the day, take a listen.
Montebello, Monterey Park, Pasadena, among others, are now parties to this lawsuit filed by the ACLU of Southern California and other immigrants' rights groups. We have breaking news. The city attorney of Los Angeles and the mayors of LA and other local cities just announcing they are filing a motion to intervene in a federal lawsuit in response to the recent immigration raids. The suit is asking the court to prevent the federal government from engaging in what the unconstitutional raids.
Unconstitutional raids. So after meeting with the general counsel from Mexico, she announces, the mayor of LA, the communist, Karen Bass, announces that she's suing the federal government and calling immigration enforcement unconstitutional. This, and you know what's funny? I look at some of the comments and people have been so brainwashed by Democrats and no president enforcing the law that they think this is unconstitutional. They think having immigration laws is unconstitutional. These open border wacko communists that hate this country refuse to pledge allegiance to the American flag, that sit outside these buildings, that federal buildings and everywhere else, burning the American flag, pissing on everything our servicemen and servicewomen have fought for. I told you guys, I don't want a civil war, but I'm telling you, there's some folks ready for it. This is just absolute insanity. They're calling for violence. There's been an increase. You've had 2 ICE officers shot this week, and you don't have one damn Democrat saying, let's tone down the rhetoric. Let's slow this down. These people, these ICE out, they're American citizens. They pay their taxes. They have rights too. They should have some type of protection as federal law enforcement. You're not seeing that. You're not seeing that. Cynthia, thank you so much for your donation on Venmo, Cynthia. I appreciate you. Thank you so much. We can't do it without you guys. We can't do it without you. Thank you, Cynthia. Now, how about this? Another traitor who is my senator, the one who was listening to his constituents that they aren't doing enough, that they need to get in the faces. This is the one that staged the photo op for what's the wording I want to use? Charging the DHS secretary while she's trying to give a press conference. Yeah, Alex Padilla. Nobody knew who he was. Nobody still knows who he is. All he wanted to do was raise some funds and make his constituents happy. Listen to this.
You felt it was so important to put forward this legislation.
Right. Well, first of all, the importance and the urgency because of not just fear, Jen, but actual terror that people are feeling, not just in Los Angeles, but especially in Los Angeles, because it's clearly Donald Trump's target right now. And as you mentioned, the bill is actually pretty straightforward. No face coverings, no masks, with certain exemptions to that. A requirement for something identifiable on the body, right? What agency do you work for? Is it ICE? Is it somebody else? And in most instances, it would be a name. There's a genuine concern about safety of some federal agents. And so maybe just a badge number or something identifiable for purposes of accountability.
Why you felt it was so important to...
What this is for is so ICE agents will be doxxed. We've already seen it happen in California. There are flyers put up in areas where ICE were doing raids with pictures of ICE agents, their address, their name, because again, they want to send a message to ICE agents. We're coming after you. They want to scare them. This is the same thing they did with all the conservatives 2016. Remember, you stuck up and you supported Donald Trump. They were coming after you. If you were a teacher, you were losing your job. If you own a business, they were going to boycott and close you down because they are fascist communists who hate this country and don't want you to have freedom of speech. Now, what are they doing? Their elected representatives are saying, hey, we want to demask these undercover ICE agents so that they have to go home and their families have to live in fear. I just think it's absolutely crazy. And where's the other one I had? Hold on. I think I have another one with him. Or maybe I didn't put it up here. Hold on. Let me find it really quick. I think not that one. That's Rep. Wesley Hunt. Oh, man, that sucks. There was another one where Padilla, I'm actually going to put the effort into finding this, I think, where he says that, that the raid yesterday at the park, let's see, was targeting children or something stupid. Let's see. Yeah, it's not popping up quickly enough. So yesterday, remember, and even Karen Bass came back out last night and said that they had a summer camp at the park where the ICE raid was going on. This person went to the park yesterday afternoon, and I thought it was great. Always grab a camera and just be the media. This is the park that they're so concerned about children being at. And typical Democrat-run city, guys.
Welcome to Sweet MacArthur Park. What do you notice the first thing in MacArthur Park when you walk up to Alvarado and I don't even know what street this is. Alvarado and I don't even want to guess what it is. Oh yeah, right. Where are we at? Oh yeah, MacArthur Park. I forgot. Where does it actually say that this is MacArthur Park? Is there a sign that says MacArthur Park? It should. This is MacArthur Park. Oh, it's Wilshire and Alvarado. So we're here at Wilshire and Alvarado in MacArthur Park. So let's see.
You see any summer camps going on, guys?
Wonder where we can find.
Or do you just see a lot of open air drug use, homelessness, and people destroying a public park?
Still looking. Nope, that's not one. Let's see. Children.
Where's the children?
Picnic. Nope. Don't see any over on this side.
Where's these summer camps? I'm just going to tell you, Caden's doing a summer fun camp. It's 2 days a week from like 8 to 10. First off, it's at a clean Clovis Unified School District classroom. If I had to walk through that, my son would not be going to that camp. But do you see the lies and the manipulation that these people are telling you? This was filmed yesterday after she heard Mayor Karen Bass said there was a summer camp there and that those poor children were traumatized by federal law enforcement doing their job. Now, I wish federal law enforcement could go a step further. I wish they could arrest everybody under the influence and let them get help instead of California policies of giving them needles and helping them kill themselves, because that is not good. You think those people work? You're paying for those people. Those people are on disability. They're on Social Security. They're on all your government benefits. Oh, well, Josh, you're heartless. God says, love thy neighbor. I'm sorry. It is not loving to help someone kill themselves. It is not loving to ensure that they get drugs so they can continue. They have family members that love them. And unfortunately, a lot of times in California, this is what we see in Gavin Newsom's California. We've covered it numerous times. When we used to go to San Francisco, when we used to go to the parks there, used to bring you guys videos of this all the times. Nothing's changed. It hasn't gotten any better. Here was just, it's funny they don't want law enforcement at these parks. To me, if I was the mayor, I would have police officers stationed there regularly so that these people weren't inside the park that are under the influence. You've seen those tweakers going through their bags for their drugs. I'm telling you, that's what they're doing. They're all spun out. They're on fentanyl and all these other drugs that are impacting our streets right now. And I would sit there and say, you know what, federal officers, we would love to get these people some help. Let's get them 72 hold in the jail, 72-hour hold, so they can sober up a little and just realize that they're at rock bottom right now. Not in California. Not in California. Before we move on really quick, let me pull this up, see if this is going to that'll take some time. But how about this? This is KTLA. Breaking, detectives seek second possible victim after body found in Los Angeles' MacArthur Park Lake. That was June 5th. They don't want officers there, though. They don't want officers there. Again, all the information's out there. Mainstream media, legacy media will not do their job, guys. They're not going to go and say, hey, we've been at that park. It's horrible. We need some type of law enforcement presence there. Another reason it attracts MS-13 gang members and other illegals from Honduras and and other places is because of the drug use there. They get their they get their little guy out on the streets. They're constantly in these areas, making it less safe for you, the residents, and it's really unfortunate. Really unfortunate. Really quick, guys. I do have my coffee this morning. Check this out. And I'll tell you something. I gave up coffee for 10 days not too long ago. I wanted to see how it affected me, and I just love coffee. But if you guys still haven't tried 1775 coffee, now's your shot. The 1775 starter kit just dropped, and there's only 1,000 units. You're getting the bold dark roast that hits harder than a CNN fact check, the smooth medium roast, and the Vitality Mushroom Coffee for clean energy and laser focus with no crash. All single origin, small batch, toxin-free and mold-free. Plus, you're also getting a gold spoon clip because freedom isn't scooped with plastic, a frother strong enough to stir up your coffee and your mother-in-law's political opinions, and a black 1775 tumbler that says, I don't take life advice or caffeine from a woke sea witch. $170 worth of coffee and gear, yours for $99. This is for the ones who've been watching 1775 blow up on Rumble, wondering if it's actually worth it. It is. Give them a shot. Go to 1775coffee.com/studio and grab your starter kit before they're gone. Bold beans, clean fuel, and a morning routine that stands for something, just like Rumble does. Start your day with coffee that actually backs what you believe in. Go give them a shot, guys. 1775coffee.com. Let's see what else we got on the front. This I thought was amazing. West Hollywood city council member. I want you to listen to this and see if you understand what he's saying. I'm going to give you a little hint. He's literally asking to use drones, not to prevent crime, for ICE, to detect when ICE is coming.
To what was here, and I appreciate the ideas brought up by my colleagues as well. While I recognize that some of the workers who work in our community may not live in our community, I wanted to just ask that in addition to the ideas that were brought here, we also think about rental assistance, should that be necessary and be something that ends up being needed. It was mentioned we won't have many council meetings this summer, and so we want to make sure we're well prepared should that be needed. I want to just thank and ask for our communication channels to be open and prepared and available. I know even during the fires, we were discussing the utility of something like the text service to notify. And I'm sort of two minds about it because I think there's the notice that you get a text on your phone and there's fear sent, but we're all talking about being in deeper communication, having a deeper level of awareness, and being able to prepare ourselves for what may be happening. And so I just want to offer to communications to think about how we can utilize beyond social media, press release, and the website itself, what else we may be able to do to quickly notify people. I know in this instance, it was 30 minutes after the issue had already occurred that we had information that became real, and it took some time before we were able to amplify that out. And news sites work really quickly in order to do that too. So I just encourage the community to be as actively engaged in all of the different social media, West Hollywood-based news sites, because everyone was acting very quickly to share information as quickly as possible. And whatever we can do to help amplify that, I would also appreciate. With regards to the utility of our automated license plate reader cameras, I think it's a clever idea to utilize that for our license plates. I know that there have been questions or concerns regarding the utility of the contracts themselves and the tools themselves to undermine the immigrant community. And so colleagues in other cities are asking for a review of those contracts and keeping a watchful eye to the news and to understanding where and when the federal government may subpoena those organizations and request information that goes beyond our ability to control that information. So I just ask that we also think about the utility of those surveillance technologies to undermine the community and how we may need to quickly and swiftly think about those contracts in a different way for ourselves should the use that Councilmember Meister suggested not be the only way they're being used. I wanted to also just mention that I have seen what's been happening in Pasadena and other places, and it wasn't and to my understanding, the mayor himself who ran ICE out of the community, was the community members who did that really effectively. And so just want to also uplift that I know while we are trying to empower our city to the fullest extent to utilize its fullest power possible, which is unfortunately extremely limited in this face of this federal government, and what it is choosing to do to our community members, that we all as people have a whole realm of power to access. And we're seeing a lot of that unleashed in really powerful ways. This Thursday night, the Los Angeles Labor Federation is hosting a direct action training from 5 to 8 p.m. at the LA Convention Center. It is public. You are welcome to sign up and go be a part of it. I think there are so many things that we as individuals can be able to do to make ourselves feel more capable and powerful. And I really encourage everyone to find that and access that. And it's not things that everyone can do, but what we're seeing largely is people power. Really push people out, push ICE out of these cities, drive them out of the hotels they're staying in, and that sort of thing.
Can
so
you believe
while I will
this?
absolutely be with you all on the very front lines if possible, as the city has long been, we all really need to find that space within ourselves in the face of this federal government to step up and to do more. And so when organizations like the Los Angeles Labor Federation are hosting these trainings, groups that we can trust and we can look to get that sort of support, I encourage us to take the time
Los
to
Angeles
do that.
Labor
And
Federation.
so much, whatever sort of comes our way as a city, I would hope that we, eventually are able to host something like this ourselves in our own city, and would encourage organizations to come to us who may want to provide that sort of training and resource, because it is deeply beneficial. And then I think, in addition to sort of the old school tactics of phone tree and communications and text, many of us live in apartment buildings. We may not know our neighbors. And I think these are just really small ways that actually are deeply transformational, getting to know each other in the face of what's happening, creating a stronger network and community. This isn't direction to staff. This is really just communicating to the public. These are things that we can all do so much better in this time. We should know the names of people who wash our cars. We should know the names of people who live next door to us. We should know how we can take care of each other.
So this is the mayor of West Hollywood. Now, I can take you through West Hollywood, and we have, encouraging people to sit outside the hotels, which they're doing every night, to get ICE out of their city. When you talk
Better.
about
And I know I feel the
justice, when you talk about enabling illegal aliens to stay in your country, but it was amazing because I listened to this, and then one of her colleagues, that's the mayor right there. And yeah, imagine having to date that liberal whack job. Woo! I don't drink anymore, but I can promise you when I did, there wasn't enough alcohol to cope with that. Take a look at this. This is city council member on that same board. Take a listen. This is crazy.
Question for you, Mr. City Manager. Do you know what the status of the drone is, when that could be deployed out? Because we could certainly use that equipment for ICE.
We don't have any new information since the last council meeting, given direction to use them as the sheriff within the sheriff's department's policy, which currently their policy is only for extreme emergency situations. So I don't think it would be helpful for us in this situation. Even if we had the drones, it would only be in like an active shooter or some type of situation like that.
But that is an extreme emergency situation. People are being abducted off the streets into unmarked cars and taken somewhere where they have nowhere they're going.
Utilizing resources that's supposed to keep American citizens safe, wanting those resources to be used to go against our federal government. These people are absolutely insane. He said, this isn't extreme. Masked people are kidnapping. Oh man. I'm praying in the back of my head that I don't cuss, that I don't say what I really, my evil thoughts that are coming out right now. This is insane, guys. That it's not that they, so 6-8 years ago, they would say this stuff, but it wouldn't be on TV. wouldn't be in a city council meeting. It would be in a back room. They're so open and flagrantly putting American citizens last. What happened to nobody is above the law? What happened to the rule of law? We heard it from Democrats for 4 years. They thought they were going to push people into not voting for Donald Trump. People felt Democrat policies. One of the biggest reasons why Donald Trump was elected was because of illegal aliens crossing our border. And now that something's being done about it, these Democrats can't take it. So Danny Hang, I don't know if he was born here in the United States. I'm voting right now to deport him. I don't care where. Let's deport him somewhere. He hates America. And I thought this was interesting too. The Diocese of San Bernardino from the Catholic Church. So the same ones that have the Catholic charities that were helping with this invasion. They had people set up in numerous countries using United States American citizen tax dollars to facilitate the invasion that was going on. He has, this is just insane. It just goes to show you where this says, this is an extraordinary document for an extraordinary time. The Catholic Church authorizing parishioners to indefinitely skip Mass out of the fear that they will be deported on their way to worship. I guess their God's not as powerful as others. At least in this. And I'm not talking Catholics. I have a lot of good Catholic friends. I'm not Catholic myself. But in the light of pastoral needs of our diocese and the concerns expressed by many of our brothers and sisters regarding fears of attending Mass due to potential immigration enforcement actions by civil authorities, I, as your shepherd, issue this decree in accordance with my authority under the Code of Canon Law, particularly Canon 87-1, which states a diocese, a bishop, whenever he judges that it contributes to the spiritual good, is able to dispense the faithful from universal and particularly disciplinary laws issued for his territory or his subjects by the supreme authority over the church. That's crazy. I know some of y'all, I know there are a lot of people that might want to become Catholic now. Imagine that. Having the diocese come out and say, we're going to help you break the law. We want you guys to break the law. And if that means you don't have to come here because you're breaking the law, welcome to the same place that has an NGO that has wasted hundreds of millions of your tax dollars on illegal aliens. Now, there's a lot of things here. Again, Trump's not getting credit for a lot of stuff. The ICE agents aren't getting credit for a lot of stuff. It's like the Iran pilots, the pilots that struck the nuclear facilities. Take a listen to this right here.
You hear the mayor of Chicago say, our local police department will not ever cooperate with ICE. How do you respond?
The facts remain that 70% of the arrests of illegal immigrants in this country either have prior criminal convictions or pending criminal after the worst of the worst. So these spineless leaders are protecting those criminal illegal aliens that we are going after. That includes terrorists, MS-13 gang members, Tren de Aragua, child rapists, murderers. Keep in mind, Dana and Bill, we have arrested almost 600 known or suspected terrorists within the United States. 2,700 members of Tren de Aragua, a vicious gang that kills, rapes, and maims Americans for sport. That is who these politicians are protecting. And unfortunately, because they won't let us in these jails to lodge detainers and eventually deport these depraved individuals, we're going to have to go out in the streets and really flood the zone to get these criminals off of our streets. And it makes it a lot less safe for these communities.
Yep, and they were warned, there'll be collateral damage if these cities want to block our ICE agents or refuse to work with them. Federal law, the federal law tops everything else, guys. State, city, everything else. That's why
divisible.
They're bound. That's why cities can't take away your First Amendment, Second Amendment, the constitutional rights. They think they can, But what they want to do is give illegal aliens more rights than American citizens. Again, I have never seen Democrats ever in my life fight this hard for American citizens. We're seeing it every day, the photo ops, the political theater, and you as the American citizens are just sitting there trying to pay your electricity bill, just want to be left alone, just want to be able to have good wages, be able to go to work. Nope. Let's listen to this video too. We're almost 2 hours into this show already.
Act would ban federal immigration officials from wearing face coverings, but them to display their names or badge numbers during enforcement operations. And this comes as DHS says ICE agents have faced a nearly 700% increase in assaults recently. A New York man was just charged with threatening to kill federal immigration officials as well as their children, posting online, "Kill them all. ICE is the new age Gestapo. Stop them. Then understand that if your ICE agents don't show proof of identity and a signed warrant, we will kill them. I can't wait to put a bullet into this guy's brain, but first his children." This past Monday, a man armed with tactical gear opened fire on Border Patrol agents at a facility in McAllen, Texas. And days earlier in Prairieland, Texas, another police officer was shot in an ambush. 10 people are facing attempted murder charges for allegedly drawing those agents out of a detention facility with fireworks and vandalizing vehicles.
I've been down the show before. I've seen this recipe before. It's going to end in bloodshed. And I say either a protester turned criminal is going to be killed or an officer is going to be killed. And it happened yesterday. I didn't want it to be true, but I've seen this recipe before. And I tell you something else, it's not over. Unless the Democratic leadership stops the rhetoric.
We certainly call on Democrats to tone down their rhetoric against ICE and Border Patrol agents who, again, are everyday men and women.
House Speaker Mike Johnson urged Democrats to tone it down and set a better example, but Democrats are defending the bill, which currently has 13 co-sponsors. You had Senator Alex Padilla on Tuesday saying it's pretty straightforward, no face coverings, no masks, and Congressman Dan Goldman saying if everything's legitimate and proper, why are you wearing masks? Florida Czar Tom Homan says ICE will continue to do its job and double down on its efforts and triple down in sanctuary cities, saying, quote, not because they're blue, but because we know they'll reach some public safety threats.
Crazy. They are calling for it. And check this out in Minneapolis. Take a look at this. These are the people they're defending. 11 illegal aliens in Minneapolis who are convicted sex offenders and pedophiles. Padilla and all them. These are their people. They were all arrested. They are going to be awaiting deportation. Again, taking these sick, perverted, you-know-whats off the streets. And I just think it's, again, and it's not just the Democrats. It's not just the Democrats. It's the arm of the Democrat Party, like CNN, the legacy media. Take a listen to this.
It's not a death.
It doesn't matter. It's normalizing a government agency disappearing people. We are normalizing, we're talking about it like it's no big deal that they are kidnapping people and transporting them to concentration camps, both domestic and foreign. I think
that's kind of insulting to
I think it's
Jewish
insulting what they're
Holocaust
doing.
survivors.
It is not insulting to Jewish Holocaust. I find it insulting that you could even fix your mouth to defend this disgusting behavior.
It's not a death.
It doesn't matter. It's a concentration camp what they're doing, and they are disappearing people, claiming that these are people who have committed the most harsh crimes. But according to the reporting, less than 10% of these people have committed harsh crimes. So to do the victim Olympics and decide who had it worse, I can tell you, I can participate in that too. And everybody who says, oh, this is not the America I know, I can guarantee you it is the America I know. Can I finish my point, please?
Yes.
We are, the fact that we're presenting this like it's political fodder, that a government agency is disappearing people, it is not a political point. It has nothing to do with Jewish people, because despite the fact that 20% of immigrants in this country are white, we do not see white people getting carted off to concentration camps. So if we can just focus on the people who are harmed the most by this, and not make yourself or somebody else the center.
Notice she said immigrants, meaning they came the legal way. Yeah, they came the right way. they're free to stay.
Of attention when that's not who's getting impacted by
I'm
this.
Jewish, but I'm saying
or anyone else the center of attention.
Tensions are so heightened. Using that kind of language, I think, is not helpful.
The tensions are heightened because this BS administration is kidnapping people. It has nothing to do with my language. It has to do with the actions that are being taken by this administration.
And how many people have been disappeared that you've never heard from again, and we don't know anything about them or where they've gone?
Thousands of people.
And
are you
never
serious?
heard about them? Where they're nothing
Oh my
really.
God, as much as I can take of that one right there. But I want to say thank you all for tuning in for show number 1 today. We will be back live in a little while. We are 100% viewer funded. Your donations keep us on the air. Lights, camera, action, data, all that stuff. It is the first of the month. We are trying to get the bills paid. If you guys would like to bless us with a donation, we would be more than appreciative. You can donate at Venmo at Oreo Josh, Cash App, $ Oreo Army. We also have our GiveSendGo link, which is givesendgo.com/Oreo 2024. And then if you do mobile or online banking and you'd like to do a Zelle transfer to us, we have that link provided on our website. Our website is theoreoexpress.com. And you on our homepage, you click down to the Donate Now button. And we just want to say thank you. We appreciate your blessing. Thank you for keeping us on the air for so long. And again, we're up against the time crunch right now as the beginning of the month is here to get everything paid for. So want to say thank you. Thank you for anybody who has donated. And thank you for anybody who's gifted subscriptions or did a Rumble rant today. Appreciate you guys. Can't do it without you guys. You guys, again, thank you to the Oreo Army and everybody else. And once again, we just want to say thank you to you all. Let's see if this is going to work. There we go. I want to say thank you to you all. And once again, check back with us in 3.5 hours. Probably going to be about a 3 o'clock live stream today, Pacific time. That's 6 o'clock Eastern. And again, guys, share this out. Hit that like button before you leave. That's the least we can ask of you. And have an awesome day. God bless.
You're still looking good. I'm still feeling good. You know, I've got all your MyPillow products. Mattress topper, bed sheets, MyPillows, towels, slippers, blankets. I'm interrupting this commercial to do something I've never done before. Get 2 MyPillows absolutely free on orders of $100 or more. I can't do this forever, so get on board with this great sale today. Our best-selling 6-piece bath towel sets or kitchen towel sets, just $29.98. Our famous standard MyPillows only $14.98. Queens $18.98. King size only $1 more. Body pillows $29.98. Multi-use MyPillow 2.0s with pillowcase $9.98. Save $40 on our Spring Percale and Giza Dream bedsheet sets. Any size, any color. So go to MyPillow.com or call that number on your screen. Use your promo code to save up to 80% on all MyPillow products. And when you spend $100 or more, get 2 standard MyPillows absolutely free.
Well, hop aboard the Oreo Express, where truth don't hide and we don't second guess. Unapologetic, we're bold and we're loud, shining light on the left shady crowd. Oreo Express, rolling down the track, exposing the lies, ain't no turning back. Conservative fire, we're speaking the truth. At Oreo Express, this one's for you. So grab your boots, let's take a stand for freedom, faith, and the heart of this land. Oreo Express, let's roll, let's go. So grab your boots, let's take a stand for freedom, faith, and the heart of this land.